Hi everyone, Ryan here, Ion Capital Solutions. Thanks so much for being with us today. I'm here with Breanna DeFeo. Breanna, thanks for being here.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Terrific, terrific. So we're going to dive in. We're going to talk about Brianna's experience so far here at Ion. Anybody who's sort of on the fence about our program or is just seeing this video for the first time, you're interested in becoming a business loan broker, interested in what resources are available to you in the marketplace, and what it's like being part of a program, more specifically our program here, right? We're going to hit the points, we're going to check the boxes, so let's dive right in. So, Brianna, when did you get started with us?
It was December of 2022, so not very long ago.
Right.
It
Yeah.
was right before the holiday.
Right, right. And how did you hear about us?
My brother-in-law Eric actually started with Ion maybe about a year and a half ago, and said nothing but good things, and has had some success. And I'm a stay-at-home mom mainly, and he said, you can put the time in. It's really up to you. Make your own schedule, and you could make something out of this. So I said, heck, yeah, I'll try it, see where I go.
Great, great. Thank you. Yes, yeah, Eric's had a lot of success here. He funds lots of deals. You yourself recently funded a deal, is that correct?
That yes, it is.
Yeah.
I was looking on Facebook, found a guy that I know. He was actually looking for funding, and a guy that he does work with, he recommended him, and the ball just rolled on from there.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. So I guess even coming into this, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you had no experience or knowledge of this industry coming in, correct?
no, not at all.
Right.
I would hear Eric talk about it, and he actually said to my husband, she's at home. She could do this. He works full time, Eric, and he said, I'm only putting in as much time as I can. She could put a lot more time into this. Um, and I thought, well, let's give it a try, see where it goes. But having no experience, it doesn't really matter. You kind of, you watch the training, and it's fairly straightforward, explained very well. And, anyone can really get into it. And it's really up to you how much you're willing to work for it, really.
Right, right. Well, thank you for that. And that's exactly what I was alluding to is you came from no experience or background in this industry and right away you were able to get the ball rolling, get a deal on the table, and we were able to get it funded. Right? Now, when I say get deals funded, you have a mentor here at Ion, right? More specifically, Christopher, who's an experienced mortgage professional and business loan broker who works with you in the field. So you're able to gather information about what it is that we do as loan brokers, what kind of products we can offer in the marketplace to borrowers. You were able to very quickly provide that information to your client. And then Christopher was able to take control of that deal and get it done for you while you were still learning about the process. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
And how did you find the experience with Christopher?
Oh, just wonderful. Really easy to work with, answered any questions that I had. And, I mentioned I have kids, so my schedule can be, I'm putting them to bed, and at, 8 o'clock at night, I'm shooting him an email, and, he's getting back to me right away, or, first thing in the mornings, and just any question I had, even if it seemed redundant or just like, what is this question? He answered straightforward, very, very, just really nice guy and very helpful.
Great, thank you. Yeah, Christopher is a rock star. We really appreciate the work he does here. He's an excellent, excellent mentor. And yeah, you have that person in your corner. And so, for anybody who's interested in our program, essentially what you do is when you plug in to our brokerage as a student, you're learning the business, but you don't have to go through the struggles of building the business. Everything is provided to you, for you. You are all the information relating to the product offerings is available to you to grab on the go. This allows you to be the expert without actually being the expert, and you're able to leverage the expertise of others, namely your mentor, to get in front of the client along with you, for you, however you want to do it. So you can start working on deals and making money right away before you're able to do this on your own. And that's a key factor of success. You know, Breanna, just to give you a little bit of feedback about your peers in the marketplace as they're trying to find success, is many people go down the road of trying to build a business. So they start buying all kinds of things, right? They pull out the wallet, the website, and the CRM, and the paid advertising, or the bought leads, or whatever it may be. And they have all these moving parts that cost money, but none of it connects right. It doesn't actually function or cash flow. So people end up under it, right? With a whole bunch of money out of pocket with no guarantee of that money coming back in per day, per week, per month, let alone earning a profit, which is a mistake. Whereas you were able to come in here and right out of the gate just hit the ground running, start working on deals, and put money in your pocket, fund a deal, right? And so that's a big plus, because people need to learn how to operate the business first and function as a business loan broker before they try and open up their own brokerage, right? I mean, I often use this analogy. If Breanna, right, was in a position of mentorship or leadership, and I, let's say I was interested in becoming a cosmetic surgeon, right, and I said, hey Breanna, I want to become a cosmetic surgeon, what do I have to do? And she said, oh, it's easy. Anybody can be a cosmetic surgeon. Just go get yourself some surgical equipment, go rent a space, go find some people who want surgery, bring them on down, cut them open, sew them back together again. Congratulations, you're a surgeon. And when you think about it, it's kind of funny, right? It's an oversimplification of the process, right? And it's no different with business loan brokering. It's not that simple. You really need to learn the business, be part of one, be surrounded by industry professionals to get results. But if you do that, you get results. And both you and your cousin have got, or excuse me, you and your brother-in-law have both got results as a result of that process, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. And it goes a real long way. So, so when you first joined us, you were introduced to the Ion Success Tool, right? More specifically, you were looking at what products that we're offering, what our marketing methods are like, and how to qualify borrowers. Can you talk to us a little bit about your experience there, the learning curve, how you found that first week of entry?
Well, I mean, I was a little overwhelmed at first, because I'm looking at it thinking, having no experience whatsoever, I'm thinking, can I do this? Can I get into this?
Right.
But the training is laid out just so well thought out. You kind of dive right into it, and you're not overwhelmed while you're doing it, but you're learning from the videos that are in there, all the different methods of doing it. And it really is just, to me, it's like the best way how to pick it up, because I'm not just reading a textbook and going through that. There's videos, different mentors are on there. There's videos from you, and there's spreadsheets and things like that. And it's just a very, very comprehensive training that doesn't really feel like overwhelming, studying, and it just, I after, the first week, and I'm doing it, and I think, I can do this. I've got this, and
on it. Right.
Yeah. Oh, right. And it's helpful because, if I have a call coming up, I'll go back in and find exactly what I'm looking for. Maybe it's a product I don't know that much about, or don't have experience with talking to people about, and I can find it and just, get on the call and know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, if I can actually stop you, that's a great point, Breanna. And so product information, right? I think in sales period, when we have a product that we're going to sell a client, often as salespeople, we anticipate what those questions are going to be. How are we going to share information with the client, and how are we going to answer the questions that they have about that information, about that product? It's intimidating, right? Nobody wants to be in a position of not knowing the answers. But yet, not only are we providing these video trainings, which are very short, by the way, and to the point, so you're able to grasp it, rather than being extremely long and abundant to where you're overwhelmed with too much information. But aside from that, when it comes to the detailed information that you need to know, rather than having to study it, rather than having to commit it to memory, we lay it out in grid format, right? Our product boards. So you're able to put this information in front of you and then be able to communicate with the client on the go. And anytime they have a question, you just find that line item and there's your answer. If they want a brief explanation, you just follow along and you explain to them how that particular product or those particular products work. And that allows you again to be the expert without actually being the expert. And you're able to overcome that obstacle and expedite that process of going from I have no experience and I don't know how this stuff works to being that professional. You're actually able to jump right into those shoes and get the ball rolling, and that's a big leg up. And I think that ultimately anybody who's trying to build their own business in brokerage, a big part of business that people tend to overlook when they try and connect the dots and build their own online business is, what do my systems and processes look like? How am I efficient? How am I organized? And that's a good point of what resources you need and how you position and organize information so that you can save time and quickly be able to navigate and spit out that information to a client, right? When you sign up with a lender as an independent broker, you get a ISO packet, right? And they'll break down all their product information for you. And if you sign up with a lot of lenders, that's a lot of capabilities packets you have to go through. That's a lot of information. Are you going to memorize all that? Absolutely not, right? I've been in this business a long time. I don't memorize every single lender packet there is. We have well over 100 lenders in our network. Instead, it's laid out neatly with products, ranges, whatever it may be, different categories of information, so we can quickly on the go get that information. It's powerful. It's powerful, you know? And so how you organize yourself and how you organize information and share it with clients, what your processes look like for dealing with clients, it's just the tip of the iceberg, but it goes a long way. So that was a really good point. Thank you for that, Breanna. Yeah, absolutely. So tell us now what you're working on, what your goals are, what you'd like to see here in the future.
Well, I'm just getting those emails out to, doing my email blasts, getting on Facebook. It seems, maybe I've taken a day and I've not got on there and not looked for the leads. Everyone's posting, looking for, hard money, looking for this, looking for that. And I'm like, oh man. So my goal is I need to get on there every day. I'm going to try morning, afternoon, if I can, and night, because people are out there looking all the time.
Absolutely.
Excuse me. And if you, take that little bit of break, not saying you can't, but there are people looking all the time, and it's out there if you want it. You just have to do it. You have to put the time in.
Sure. Absolutely. Now you make mention of email. You make mention of Facebook. And I think anybody watching this immediately question marks start popping up. Well, what do you mean these platforms? How do you use these platforms? How do you navigate these platforms? And without diving into specifics here, right? Yeah. It's clear that these platforms are heavily navigated and used by people all around the world every single day. And for us as salespeople to be able to navigate these platforms and find the audience we're looking for and communicate with them and to provide value to them in a place where they're actively looking for it and need it and have a need for it is just it's powerful and it's paramount, and it's important that we understand that workflow. There's lots of lone brokers out there that are still buying leads and cold calling or paying for advertising. Perhaps you hear us say Facebook now and you think, oh, they're running Facebook ads. No, we're not. You don't have to post and boost and pay for ads and buy leads and cold call to connect with clients. You can connect with clients 100% for free. You just have to follow a regimented workflow. It's called organic multi-platform lead generation. And Breanna was mentioning a little bit about that just a moment ago. And there's multiple platforms involved, Facebook and LinkedIn and Google and email sequencing. But you have to know what that regiment looks like, what your routine looks like, what your limitations are, where the networks are, how to communicate with people, what to say, what not to say, where to go. These are very important questions that you need to know the answer to, and you have to follow that regiment. But if you do and you record the data, you can get terrific results. Now, Eric is a lot further along than you, obviously, Breanna, and he's got spare
Mhm.
time. He works a full time job, right, as a police officer. So, and even still, he's able to get plenty of clients and get deals funded with a little bit of time. But if he was able to take more of his time and be able to hit his marketing routine in full and not break stride, he'd have way more deal flow. And so, I think what's next for you, Breanna, is for us to take a look at your marketing routine and
Mhm.
analyze what is it you're doing, what is it you're not doing, right? You know your tracker and client list. Let's take a look. Let's see what your outreach is, what your outreach isn't, right? See what your goals are for the week, and that's laid out in your tracker, and then see how you measured up. And that's where we are able to find room for improvement. And then take a look at the performance, right? Okay, you reached out on various platforms, and how did it go? How many were interested? Of the ones that were interested, how many had immediate needs, right? How many qualified? How many applications did you get in, right? What happened with those applications that came in? Did these
Mhm.
clients get approved for funding? Did they not? Did they accept the offer? Did they get funded? Did they not? What happened? Data equals intelligence equals money. And that's really the next conversation, I think, for us, Breanna.
Mhm.
So why don't you and I get something on the calendar to discuss that and evaluate that data so we can start funding even more deals and improve your marketing routine. Sound good?
Sounds great.
Terrific. Yeah.
I wanted to, add for people who think, oh, I'm going on Facebook or I'm on LinkedIn, and I'm sending, you know, say, 100 emails a week. I find that it's the experience of doing it. The more you get out there and, say to people and explain the products, you might not catch a deal from that, or even get an application from that, but you're learning from doing.
Right.
And, you can, read how many books on the subject, learning by, repetition of, hey, this is what we have, and talking to people. That's really very helpful. So with the program, getting out there, day one, you're out there putting yourself out there. It's,
Trial
to
by
me,
fire.
right,
Right?
it is the ultimate way to do it.
Yeah.
Because I could learn all this from school, or courses online and things like that, but by the time I go to get into the field, I probably have lost all that knowledge of what to do. But if you're out there and, talking to someone, and they might not even qualify, but you're getting your experience, and you're, they always say, be the expert. You're talking to them, and maybe right now they can't fund that deal. We can't fund a deal for them, but later on they're going to say, hey, that person really knows what they're talking about. They were understanding of my needs. Now I have the capital, or I can, get funding now. They'll come back to you. And
Indeed.
I think that's, one of the really good aspects about this training and this course is just from step one, day one, you're out there doing
Yeah.
it.
Absolutely. That's a great point. Thank you, Brianna. Yeah, I literally just got off the phone before this call to discuss a prospective student, and his frustrations are deals not funding. He's in the merchant cash advance space, and he gets lots of applications and collects 3 months bank statements, avoided check and driver's license, and forwards to lenders blindly and says, "Here you go. Where's my commission check?" And I explained to him that is not how this business works. And if you want to find success in this business, part of the process is learning what not to do. And what he's
Mm-hmm.
got a lot of experience in is what not to do. But those conversations are too quick, right? He's like, you need funding for your business? Give me 3 months bank statements and an application I'm going to forward to the lender next. And he's never actually learning. But through our processes, you're learning a lot about deep qualification with clients and how to disqualify files. You don't want to just blindly submit deals to lenders. You want to know for yourself, what is a good deal? What is a bad deal? How is a borrower, a client qualified? How is their business qualified? Their assets, their cash flow, whatever it may be, and be able to control your destiny. That can only happen if you develop the scrapes, the cuts, the bruises live in the marketplace to be able to
Mm-hmm.
accrue the knowledge through experience to ultimately be that professional business loan broker and make money and consistently make money. And so what you're talking about is exactly that. It's being out there in the field and accruing knowledge through experience, developing those scrapes, cuts, bruises, right? It's a very important part of the process. And there are people that struggle with that part of it, right? Or if they don't have immediate results, or the second, they have a bad day, they quit, they give up. It's too hard. But anybody who's going to be successful in sales has to understand that that's just the way it is in
Mhm.
any sales environment, right? And so being live in the marketplace and accruing that knowledge and experience out of the gate is extremely important and powerful, because you need a certain amount of that experience and knowledge to be able to be successful. And what better way to be live in the marketplace than alongside an industry professional, so that you can expedite that process and get to the place where you can handle it on your own 2 feet that much sooner. So it's another great point there, Breanna, and I'm happy to see that you're engaging in the marketplace, because it's a very important place to be. But equally, it's just as important to be able to analyze the data that comes in from your experience in the marketplace and improve your skill set. So each time you go back into the marketplace, you're that much more efficient, your teeth are that much sharper, you're that much more knowledgeable, and ultimately you're able to convert, earn profit, make money,
Mhm.
right? That's what this is about. So, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So anyway, thank you so much for doing this, Breanna. I
Oh,
really
you're
do
welcome.
appreciate it. Thank you. Before we wrap up here, I just want to ask you sort of a tagline for the program. Anybody who's watching this video who's on the fence about joining, what would you say to them in your own words?
You really have nothing to lose. You're operating a business basically, by, I don't want to say by yourself, but it's what you put into it. And you have, there's an incredible amount of support from, you and your mentor. And, I've even, you know, reached out to another mentor, hey, do you know anything about this? I have my brother-in-law, but I'm sure that there are other people that are going through the training too, that are
Indeed.
more than willing to help. And it's not I'm not going to help you because you're going to take a sale from me. It's everybody's out there to help everyone succeed. And it's just really, if I can do it, anyone can do it. It's how much are you willing to put into your own success.
Indeed.
I am sorry, they just started screaming there.
Oh, no worries. We can't hear it, so it's all good.
Okay.
Well, thank you for that, Breanna. Absolutely. I really appreciate that. And yes, really anybody can do it. You just have to commit yourself to it. Breanna joined us right before the end of the year last year, and she was able to make some money. And she's doing this as a mom of kids, right? You got a lot going
Yes.
on. You only have
Yes.
so much time to be able to dedicate to this, and you were literally able to enter the marketplace right away and start making money. So that's fantastic. And for anybody who's interested in her brother-in-law Eric, you can see YouTube video of him and the commissions he's earning. The last one he earned was around $9,500, something like that.
Hmm.
I'll link it in the description of this video, but he funds a lot of deals here at Ion.
Hmm.
It's what you make of it, right? So
Right.
anybody who wants to make a run of this business and find a way to increase their income, whether it's a side hustle, a part-time gig, even your full-time thing, a great place to start and learn while earning is here at Ion Capital Solutions. Breanna, thank you very much again for doing this. Sure do appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Wonderful. All right, everybody watching, thanks so much for being here with us. We'll catch you in the next video.